Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I did this look right here. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything I use will be listed down in the description box below. I did notice before doing my intro that part of these clips I forgot to turn my mic back on, so there will be some voiceover. I also changed the lip shade that I went with. Instead of the question mark, I went with Celebrity Skin, and that's what I'm wearing right now. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. I wanted to start this video straight in the eyeshadow, so I did my eyebrows and prepped my eyes off camera. The palettes I'm using for this look is the James Charles and Morphe palette and the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Conspiracy palette. The first shade I'm using is Brother, and I'm just using a flat eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to start this look off by just using that Brother shade to kind of carve out what I want the eyeshadow to look like. I'm going to use the same brush and go into the shade Cola. It's just a little bit darker of a blue. And I'm going to focus that darker shade on this outer third. Using a smaller blending brush, I'm going to use a Morphe M562 and go into a lighter blue shade, and this shade is called Playground. I'm going to use that to kind of blend out the other blues. Using a thicker blending brush, I'm going to use it to help blend out that darker blue, and I haven't put any new product on it. I'm just using this to blend out that a bit more. Just seems like it doesn't want to blend right here for some reason. Everywhere else is blended just fine, but this one right here does not want to. I'm going to use that flat eyeshadow brush again and go back into the shade Brother and put some of that color back in. Using that M562 brush again, I'm going to go back into Playground and blend that out some more. I'm going to use that flat brush again, go into the darker blue shade Cola, and do the same thing and just go back over that dark color. This is going to be a half cut crease, so the concealer I'm going to use is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Before I put the concealer on, I used some micellar water and a Q-tip to clean up some of that eyeshadow where I'm trying to put the concealer at. The brush I'm going to be using is a Morphe M421 brush. Using a Morphe M213 brush, this is just like a really small flat brush. I'm going to go into that Brother shade and sharpen that line up above the concealer. The shade I'm going to use on top of the concealer is a shimmer shade, and it's called Hello. And the brush I'm using is a Morphe E18. The shimmer shade is just like a light blue. And instead of swiping it on, I'm pressing it on. If you like swipe a shimmer shade, it just kind of comes off. So you want to just like pack it into the spot that you want it to be at. It also helps if you put like wet your brush a little bit. It brings that shimmer shade out a bit more. I didn't do it, but that's just some advice. Now I do want to darken that outer third a little bit more. Now that I've got the shimmer shade and the concealer on, I'm going to go back into that shade Cola, and I'm using that small blending brush, and I'm just going to pack that in right on that corner, and then I'm going to slowly blend it out. You don't want to blend it out too much because you still have that light blue on the outer side, so just be very careful where you're blending it out. Don't blend it out too much. Just want to blend it out to make it look less harsh. Then you go back in with that M562 brush and go into that going into the Playground shade, that light blue shade. I'm going to use this to blend it out a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side off camera, and then I'm going to start on my face. Alright guys, this is where I forgot to turn my mic back on, so this will be where I start the voiceover. I don't like doing voiceover because when I listen back, I feel like I sound really nasally. Anyway, starting on my face, I am using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm using a BS Mall round face brush. Moving on to concealer, I am using a mix of the Maybelline Eraser Concealer in the shade 100 and the Hydrating Camo Concealer by e.l.f. in the shade Light Ivory. If you noticed something on my nose, it is a band-aid. I have the worst irritation bump that I've ever had on my nose in this video, so I put a band-aid over it to try and keep as much of the makeup and stuff off of it as I could because I want to try to let it heal. For contour, I'm using the NYX Wonderstick. To blend this out, I am using a Morphe and Jeffree Star JS3 brush. I'm not going to do any nose contour on this just because I want to keep stuff off of my nose. It was really upsetting to find out that most of this video was muted after everything was done because I really loved the way this makeup look turned out. For blush, I'm using a PLouise Cosmetic base, and this is the shade Blowin Bubbles. Something you may notice in these clips is I am talking even though you can't hear it. That is something I was working on in this video. To set those creams, I am using an e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist and a damp sponge. This is also to help blend and pick up any excess product. For setting powder, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Paris Hydra Perfect. The reason I was trying to work on talking more in this video is just because I'm still getting used to talking into a camera. And I've realized in a lot of my videos I just don't talk enough, and I think it can make them kind of boring. For bronzer, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Luminous Bronze Light Bronzer with an e.l.f. pointed powder brush. For my under eye, I'm going to be using a Morphe M562 brush again and using that Playground shade to brush it underneath of my eye. I am also wanting to use this shade to connect to the top eyeshadow. So anyways, I want to work on talking more in my videos because I want you guys to feel like I'm talking to you, because I don't know who else I'd be talking to unless I'm talking to myself, and that's kind of depressing. It's just still hard to do that because I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to a camera the whole time. Using a Morphe M213 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Brother and Cola and darken up that blue a little bit more. For my inner corner, I'm going to be using the shade Social Blade with a flat eyeshadow brush as a transition shade. I'm going to be using this shade on the top lid and on the underside of my eye. Now the main color for the inner corner, I'm going to be using the shade Food Vibes from the Conspiracy palette. For the brush, I am using an M213 that I cleaned off, and I'm using this to pack this color in as bright as I can make it. I also wet my brush with some setting spray to help bring that color out some more. I can't lie, this is like my favorite part of this whole look. I did this off camera, but for my waterline, I used the NYX eyeliner in the shade Aqua Green. For highlighter, I'm going to use the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed Highlighter in the shade Pearl, and the brush I'm using is a Morphe M510 brush. The lipstick that I'm using right here is a Velour Liquid Lipstick by Jeffree Star, and this is the shade Question Mark. I did end up changing this to his Celebrity Skin shade. I just think it worked better with the look, but I figured I'd show this just in case you preferred this color better. I think either shade would look cute with this. I just felt like this looked too pink for me. Then for the gloss, I use Jeffree Star Cosmetics The Gloss in the shade Shane Glossin. To set everything, I'm using the Dewy Coconut Setting Mist again. So this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.